What's up guys, Jim back again, giving you another video on The Walking Dead, Season 6, Episode 13, The Same Boat. So this episode is very interesting. We see a very unique approach that Gimple and Nicotero give us. They always have their deviations from the comic book adaptation of Kirkman's The Walking Dead, and we see Paula, who is a new female antagonist, in this episode, and it's interesting. It's very confined between the characters of Maggie, Carol, and Paula. We don't see much of the group, which is a main ensemble in the show. And so let's jump right into it. So in this episode, they take them captive to a place we don't know the whereabouts of. I'm guessing it's the factory or one of the Savior's outposts. So basically, we see what Carol does best, and she wears a facade to confide her identity. Basically, she's like attempting to emotionally manipulate Paula or one of the characters, and she's very versatile. She's very versatile of a character, and ease her way around people. We also see that in Alexandria, where she kind of plays innocent grandma or innocent aunt with other characters in Alexandria. She's utterly pragmatic. So it's interesting to see that. The best moments in this episode are the banter between dialogue of Paula and Carol, because Paula sees the weakness in Carol. As she's wearing a mask, she's pretending to be weak, reminding herself of who she once was. And it's very interesting, the dialogue back and forth, because they're both kind of one and the same. Later throughout the episode, we hear Rick through the walkie-talkie. Paula eventually makes the trade 2-for-1, Primo for Carol and Maggie. And interesting to see that. And things obviously inevitably escalate, which Paula is searching for Rick's group because they make it to a certain point, and it's a whole setup situation. And, Carol eventually breaks out because she uses a rosary, the metal part of the rosary, to cut her way through the duct tape which she's tied to. Inevitably, obviously they face off. We see Paula versus Carol, and we see Carol having this strugglement in her character, because it's almost that she's disgusted with what she's become. I mean, she's killed, from the last episode, she's written down 19 people so far, and she's almost disgusted. I mean, it's forced to what she's had to do in this type of dystopia, in this world of barbarism, mainly from killing the wolves, and many of them, I'd say she was a huge substantial benefit in killing those wolves. So, they fight. We see Lauren Cohan, Maggie Green get in there, fighting some of the other characters, and it's cool to see it happen. She's very amped and excited about it. I saw a behind-the-scenes tape of her just getting amped about to get into a physical choreography. So it was awesome to see. By the end of the episode, Carol ends up leading some of the more saviors into a sort of confined, intimate area, and she shuts this huge gate while she's smoking a cigarette, and she throws the cigarette in there with a lighter, lights them all on fire. It's about 5 or 6 saviors, leaves them in there to die. So ruthless character. So it was cool to see that, a singular episode just with just them. It was great to see more of Carol, because she's one of the best characters on the show, by my standards, by my taste. So by the end of the episode, they pretty much, Rick and the group, find them, and we hear the famous quote from Primo, basically, "We are all Negan." Smart technique into the loyalty for Negan, and basically secure his sort of tyranny, so they don't know who Negan is. And so he basically says, "I am Negan." Rick kills and shoots Primo in that instant. By the end of the episode, we see some sort of symbolism with Carol gripping onto the rosary, and I believe it symbolizes humanity, gripping for humanity, but there's blood rolling down the rosary, so sort of like the blood is wearing thin of, keeping their identity of who they once were. So it's kind of like good group going cold in a sort of sense. So yeah, I love that symbolism at the end. There's an interesting perspective. I honestly don't necessarily agree with it, but there is a lot of symbolism in the show. Some may be elusive, some be more explicit. But yeah, excited to see what happens next episode. I believe it's going to be a team of Eugene and Abraham looking for supplies, and there's going to be some imminent danger. Now, I believe that next episode we will see the death of Abraham, just like in Kirkman's um, comics and his graphic novel run in that storyline. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will see you guys.